Hello, this is Gayle Palmer at the Living Elements Clinic, and today I wanted to talk to you about animal communication. Years and years ago, when I got my standard poodle, Miss Echo, I realised that there was far more going on in her head, her thoughts, her feelings, ideas, concepts, understandings, and more that I might want to know about than just watching her could tell. Although she is a very good facial communicator. And so keeping her eyes available so that I can see them also has really helped communication. But I had a sense that if I learnt how to communicate with her on a deeper, more personal level, I would get more out of the relationship, and so would she. I wanted to ask her lots of questions. She was a rescue. I got her at 2, and so I became her 4th mummy. That's a lot to deal with as a young dog. I wanted to explore her worries and her concerns, and she does have them. I wanted to allay any potential issues or worries for her and for me, particularly as I didn't have very much understanding about how she'd been trained or how she'd been brought up with her previous owners. I wanted to engage with her more. I know that she is a clever, very sentient being, and I wanted to get to know her and have a real partnership together. I wanted to find ways to use her observations and her understandings to help me understand her more, but also for her own benefit, and help me guide or be guided to make the best choices for us both. So, how did I go about that? I started to engage with a couple of animal communication teachers, and I did several courses. And one of my mentors in particular, I worked with from time to time with Echo on a fairly regular basis for a few years. Well, wow, what a world opened up. I had no idea that that was going to be coming my way. So, in addition to engaging and exploring my clair senses, and if you want to know what those are, then please go and have a look at the blog posts on livingelements.co.uk, or you can look at the YouTube channel as well, which is Living Elements Clinic, and you'll find 8 series of 8 videos on there for you. But I really wanted to get a handle on how animals sense and think and exist, particularly given they're having to run alongside us as human beings. Well, wow, I am so glad that I took this, because it has been a complete gift to me. So, in the process of training and practicing animal communication for myself, I found that it was not only an art but also a science to it, much like my osteopathy practice is. And I realised that animals understand way more than we can imagine. They have gratitude and other emotions, and their values are amazing. Sometimes, I have to say, ashamedly, higher than even human beings. And it's been a complete honour and joy to be able to practice as someone who can speak to the animals and have the privilege of looking after them as guardians. So, when I'm working as an animal communicator, I also adhere to a strict code of ethics and consent, not only from the animal, but also from you as their owner or guardian, so that I ask questions in a pertinent but respectful way, and in a way that they can understand. And I am able to convey what I've learnt to you as their human guardian in a way that's understandable for you too. So it might be that I need to find ways to resolve conflict or concerns or issues that you might be having together or separately. develop better communication channels for you both so that you can both have your lives enhanced. Now, these changes as a result of the animal communication are not always immediate or even obvious, but they are very real because there has to be a period of adaptation. And some of the communications that I've done with both pets and wild animals have blown me away. Blown me away. So the other thing to say that communicating with the animals is fantastic, but sometimes they need more than that. They need more guidance, they need more healing, perhaps for themselves or for the situation itself. And I can also offer energy healing, distance healing, and forms of shamanic healing, both for the animals and for you as their guardian. That might not all happen, obviously, in an animal communication conversation. It may need to happen at a different time, but it's something that can also be added in. And again, it can make a massive difference. It doesn't make up for an animal needing to go to a vet, though. And of course, it all has to have the appropriate consents around it. But it can be revolutionary for that animal. And you know, they are so generous and grateful when they're given help and support. And their generosity comes back to you multifold as well. So if that's something of interest to you, you can book an animal communication conversation in the usual way on the booking platform at livingelements.co.uk, or get in touch with me directly at the clinic. Sometimes if you pre-book it, that's fine, but I might need to just shift it around so that I can manage my own human patients too. I allow up to about an hour. Sometimes it takes more though, so I need to have a little bit of leeway in the process. So I hope that's been of interest to you. Animal communication is really an extension for me of what I already do as an osteopath and as a healer and a shamanic practitioner. But it brings me much joy, and I'd love to be able to help you and your pet animal to enjoy an enhanced and better life. So if that's of interest, get in touch. That's Gayle Palmer at the Living Elements Clinic, where your health is my priority, and that includes for animals.